Amidst the dazzling displays of color and life, the three sisters delighted in their day-to-day antics, each finding sheer joy in the simplest of pleasures. The eldest, Nia, although small in stature, possessed an indomitable will. Standing before vast mirrors that adorned the palace walls, she often practiced speeches to rouse the people, convinced that one day she would inspire the kingdom with her fiery oratory. Each word can stir a heart, and if this realm is to flourish, we need a voice. That echoes strength, she would chant, striking poses with conviction. The palace staff would chuckle, unable to suppress their laughter at the sight of the tiny princess commanding an audience of imagined subjects. Meanwhile, Zuri, the middle princess, found solace in the countless scrolls that lined the library shelves. She often sat under the great baobab tree that graced the palace gardens, lost in her makeshift world of dreams. One day, I will journey beyond the horizon, sail the seas, and return with stories woven with wonder and magic, she would declare to her sisters, eyes glimmering with the excitement of her envisioned adventures. The vibrant colors of the painting ropes, thus, served as her palette, inspiring her to create fantastical maps of lands unknown, filled with swirling dragons and friendly giants. Her laughter rang like melodious bells, comforting her siblings as they embarked upon their own whimsical quests. Then there was little Amani, whose every movement held an air of innocence and clumsiness. With her whimsical leaps and boundless energy, she often found herself wrapped in mischief. One day, as her sisters practiced in the great hall, she stumbled upon the kitchen, eyes wide with curiosity. "What if I make the biggest cake in the land?" she exclaimed, her heart racing with excitement. Flour dusted her nose like the finest powder, and by the end of her adventure, the kitchen resembled a marvelous disaster. The kitchen staff, barely able to contain their mirth, watched as she proudly presented her creation to Nia and Zuri, who roared with laughter at the crooked layers and smeared icing. As days turned into months and seasons shifted, their parents, the benevolent king and queen, began to notice the growing whispers among the courtiers, a longing for the princesses to find their paths in the world, to discover what lay beyond the palace walls. As worthy suitors arrived from far-off lands, hoping to win the affection of the royal daughters, the air grew thick with expectation. However, Nia would roll her eyes at the display of pomp, declaring, "I will choose my own fate." From where they stood, tired within the confines of tradition, Zuri dreamed of realms whose maps weren't yet drawn, while Amani, ever so naive, clung to the belief that anyone who could balance a cake on their head would surely win her heart. Yet, amid laughter and cheer, uncertainty loomed like a gathering storm, for marriage was not merely an arrangement of love. It was a riddle to be unraveled, with complexities that could intertwine their lives in unexpected ways. The parents, filled with concern, pondered the challenges that lay ahead as the kingdom thrived, a dazzling tapestry woven with the threads of joy, fear, and the unknown that awaited their beloved daughters. The royal court buzzed with excitement and whispers as the news of the upcoming contest spread through the halls like wildfire. Nobles, commoners, and even wandering minstrels had something to say about the three princesses and the eccentric challenges devised by the king. Every corner of the kingdom was alight with speculation. Who would be worthy of winning the hearts of the beloved princesses? But in the midst of the excitement, a shadow was cast over the jovial atmosphere. What if the suitors failed miserably? As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, a cacophony of sounds filled the courtyard. The eldest, Princess Amara, stood tall and unwavering, her long hair fluttering in the gentle breeze. She had made her intentions clear. Any suitor aspiring to her hand must display unparalleled strength by lifting a boulder from the valley, a colossal rock that loomed like a sleeping giant. Throngs of young men flexed their arms and grunted in preparation, but not all seemed inspired by her challenging task. Some hoped for a little luck from the fates, while others suspected her true intentions. Meanwhile, seated gracefully on a lavishly embroidered cushion, the middle princess, Seraphine, was crafting daydreams around her poetic challenge. "Love is a song that must be sung," she mused aloud, captivating those around her with musings that seemed to float on the warm air. Her challenge demanded potential suitors craft verses that would resonate with the depths of her romantic heart. As many a troubadour attempted to compose the perfect lines of longing, they faced an unexpected rival in Tamsin, the youngest princess. Her challenge, simple in nature yet profound in impact, called for suitors to care tenderly for the animals of the royal stables. A gentle smile could often be seen gracing her lips as she watched hopeful lads comb through hay and offer kindness to the creatures that often lacked it. As the evening turned into night, the mood shifted. Amara had witnessed the antics of many a suitor finding themselves bested by nature. A heavy boulder would roll back down the hill, proving just how frightfully foolish and unprepared some truly were. Meanwhile, Seraphine's suitors often found themselves entangled in their own romantic knots amidst her poetic musings. Confusion abounded, as many struggled to connect their verses to the essence of her affection. They stumbled over words like clumsy fish on solid ground, red-faced and stammering, each declaration of love met with laughter rather than applause. Tamsin, watching her sisters from behind the stable doors, chuckled under her breath. She particularly enjoyed the sight of a bumble-headed suitor attempting to woo a stubborn donkey with a poem that was nothing short of disastrous. "Oh dear," she giggled, clapping her hands over her mouth. "Perhaps I should offer him a few lines to help him out." Little did they all know, the whims of the royal family and their contests, brimming with jest, would breed a day filled with foolishness and an unexpected turning of fate, a prelude to the most delightful mishaps yet to come. They were but a breath away from revealing how love often leads us astray, in the most charming of ways. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a golden glow over the royal grounds, the enthusiasm surged like a wave. The next contestant, a robust knight with a boisterous laugh, stepped forward, his armor glinting bravely in the light. He bared his chest and called out to the crowd with a flourish, "Stand back, ladies and gentlemen. Witness the strength of Sir Thaddeus, champion of the West." With that proclamation, he approached the colossal boulder like a warrior preparing for battle. The crowd craned their necks, breath held in anticipation. With a fierce battle cry that echoed through the garden, Sir Thaddeus positioned himself beside the boulder and began a series of exaggerated stretches, much to the delight of the onlookers. As he gathered himself one last time, everyone was sure that this would be no ordinary feat. With a mighty grunt, he seized the boulder. Muscles, straining and veins popping, he dug in his heels, desperately pushing against the stony giant. However, to the surprise of all, the boulder remained steadfast. The knight huffed and puffed. A comical look of determination stamped across his face as he jumped back and charged at the boulder once more. But alas, gravity showed no mercy. The assembled group erupted in laughter, with the eldest princess chuckling heartily behind her fan, her eyes sparkling with mirth at Sir Thaddeus's valiant yet futile struggle. Not far from the clumsy knight, the charming bard remained blissfully unaware of the chaos, trying to regain the audience's attention after his earlier mishap. Strumming his lute, he began anew, weaving a tale of love, longing, and knightly valor. "Oh, fair maiden, in your presence I feel a spark, light as a firefly and bright as the stars. Your laughter is the melody that dances in my heart," he crooned, voice smooth as silk. However, just as he reached the pinnacle of his poetic crescendo, he glanced up at the crowd, only to find the elder princess leaning towards the youngest with an exaggerated grin. Momentarily distracted, the bard stumbled over his words. "Your hair glows like," prompting a fresh wave of laughter that rippled through the audience. Meanwhile, the youngest princess had taken her place beside the goat pen, where the kind-hearted farmer, still flustered from his previous encounter with the witty goats, attempted once more to win her favor. Spread before him was a basket overflowing with the finest grains, a glorious offering for the royal goats. With eager hands, he gently spread the food, but instead of munching tenderly, the goats charged towards him, their little horns gleaming mischievously in the sunlight. The farmer yelped in surprise, being playfully butted from behind, setting off a delightful chase, him dodging and weaving, the goats bleating jubilantly as they pursued him with gleeful abandon. The princess watched with delight, her laughter ringing like a melody throughout the garden. There was no grandeur, no pomp, just a beautiful tapestry of resolute spirits and joyous vulnerability, each contestant offering something uniquely earnest to the contest. In this vibrant, imperfect display of aspirations and courage, they all endeared themselves to the royal sisters, who found that perhaps the richest gifts were not those of perfect feats, but of genuine hearts laid bare. As laughter echoed through the castle grounds, it became clear that the contest was more than just a battle of strength and skill. It was a crucible where lessons were molded in unexpected ways. The second day brought forth a challenge designed to test not only might, but also creativity: the quest of the enchanted riddle. Contestants were tasked with solving a series of intricate puzzles that required both wit and teamwork. The air was thick with anticipation as the knights, accustomed to the clang of swords and the thrill of combat, faced a new kind of adversity, one that demanded a collaboration they hadn't anticipated. The mighty Sir Cedric, known far and wide for his prowess in battle, found himself stumped by the first riddle. As he paced back and forth, frustration etched on his brow. It was the gentle encouragement of his fellow competitors, some of whom he had considered beneath him, that sparked an unexpected realization. They huddled together, sharing ideas that flew across the group like arrows from a bow. With every suggestion, Cedric's heart lightened. He began to understand that true greatness is not found in isolation, but in the strength of community. When they finally cracked the riddle, laughter surged forth, ringing through the courtyard like a sweet melody. Meanwhile, the princesses observed these transformations with wide eyes. The eldest, imbued with a fierce desire for independence, found her views shifting with every hearty chuckle that erupted from the knights. Among them, she discovered a refreshing honesty that contradicted her preconceived notions about power and heroism. The suitors, undeterred by mistakes and setbacks, turned these blunders into opportunities for mirth, evolving not just as competitors, but as friends. Each chortle became a thread that wove their destinies closer together, fostering friendships that transcended titles and armor. Over at the stables, the youngest princess, Isabella, had embarked on her own delightful adventure. Rather than dwelling in the lofty halls of her lineage, she ventured out among the townsfolk, her laughter ringing like a bell. There, she accompanied the farmers in their daily chores, acknowledging the sweat and toil that went unnoticed by many in the castle. With each shared story under the warm sun, a bond was forged, one that intertwined her heart with the simple joys of ordinary life. A villager's tale about a runaway goat had them all gasping and then bursting into laughter as they reenacted the goat's comical escapades. To Isabella, this unexpected camaraderie revealed a richness and connection that transcended any princely ball or lavish banquet. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose, the lessons of the day settled within the hearts of everyone present. The knights found humility amidst their laughter, the princesses discovered bravery and kindness, and the townsfolk felt their spirits uplifted through shared experiences. What had started as a contest for courtly favor had transformed into an exploration of shared humanity, where joy knitted together the fabric of their lives in ways no sword or champion ever could. Each moment of hilarity became a stepping stone toward a collective understanding as they journeyed deeper into the heart of laughter and love. In the grand tapestry of their lives, the miraculous threads of friendship began to shimmer ever brighter. As twilight settled over the valley, a cascade of lanterns illuminated the faces gathered for the grand feast, flickering like fireflies in the summer night. Tables adorned with rich feasts stretched across the meadow, brimming with platters of roasted meats, vibrant fruits, and delicacies that made even the most discerning palate sigh with satisfaction. The air hummed with anticipation, not just for the banquet before them, but for the spirit of camaraderie that had blossomed over the past weeks. Seated around the long tables, the atmosphere buzzed with exchanged stories and laughter, each princess sharing tales of their past, their dreams, and the light-hearted moments that had turned them from competitors into friends. It was a rare sight to see the once relatively distant princesses, each embodying their own realms, now united by a shared journey. The playful banter danced through the cool night air, punctuated by harmonizing laughter that wove a tapestry rich with connection. The bravest knight, often reserved in his stoic demeanor, had transformed into an unexpected source of joy. In a comically crafted goat costume, complete with a whimsical beard and oversized hooves, he leaped into the center of the gathering. His antics evoked roars of laughter, a blaring trumpet of absurdity in the midst of regalia. He pranced and leapt, embodying humor in its most unadulterated form, breaking barriers that once seemed insurmountable. The princesses, reveling in the joy of this unexpected twist, found themselves laughing not just at his performance, but at the realization that true bravery often wore the garb of folly. As their laughter echoed through the valley, an unspoken shift occurred. Each princess found themselves lost in the merriment, but their glances began to linger a little longer, a spark igniting where rivalry had once thrived. The knight's performance acted not only as a catalyst for mirth, but as a mirror reflecting their own hidden wishes, those yearning for genuine companionship beyond royal expectations and societal norms. It was in those fleeting moments of connection, as lush smiles blossomed and eyes twinkled like the stars above, that unvoiced longings began to unveil themselves. Amidst the banquet's jubilation, pairings emerged almost effortlessly. The fierce and independent Princess Alara found herself seated beside the shy yet earnest bard, their shared laughter knitting a thread of rapport that bound them closer with each exchanged word. Princess Callista, known for her sharp wit, found herself intrigued. By the knight's light-hearted disposition, her usual retorts softened under the enchanting allure of a shared joke. Even the steadfast guardian of the realm, strong and resolute, began to shed layers of armor, drawn into the warmth of the moment. As the stars shimmered overhead, dreams whispered through the night, painting possibilities of new relationships budding within the heart of the festivity. The contest no longer felt like a distant memory bound by rivalry. Rather, it transformed into a shared adventure that had shaped their very souls. For tonight, under the watchful gaze of the heavens, they learned that the treasures of existence were not measured by victories or grand gestures, but by the depth of connection and the joyous embrace of shared folly. And thus, with laughter echoing under the stars, the promise of adventures yet to unfold filled the air, forever altering the landscape of their hearts. As the sun began its descent, casting a golden hue over the festive gathering, the air was thick with the laughter and joy of a community united. The royal family joined hands, the three daughters still caught in the merriment, their infectious laughter echoing through the gardens. Each moment sparkled with a kind of magic that could only emerge when hearts were laid bare in celebration. Their heartfelt connections blossomed, weaving an intricate tapestry of camaraderie and understanding amongst nobility and commoners alike. Amidst the gaiety, the youngest, Princess Alara, twirled in a frenzy of delight, her gown swirling like petals in a gentle breeze. She had spent the better part of the day drawing out the shy and quiet souls that lingered along the perimeter of the festivities, welcoming them into the fold of shared happiness. With each smile exchanged and every tentative conversation sparked, Alara learned that the essence of companionship was often hidden behind layers of hesitation, waiting to be discovered. The joy she felt in these connections was a testament to the transformative power of kindness. In a corner of the garden stood the second princess, Lyra, engaged in a spirited debate about art with a group of hopeful young artists. Their passionate dialogue swirled around the topic of beauty and inspiration, revealing the depth of perception that lies within the heart of even the most aspiring minds. Lyra was captivated by their insights, fascinated by how creativity flowed not just from skill, but from the fabric of their experiences and emotions. Through laughter and spirited exchanges, she grasped an undeniable truth. A shared passion could spark the flames of camaraderie no contest could ever ignite. Meanwhile, the eldest princess, Seraphine, found herself entranced by the stories of the villagers as they recounted tales of their daily lives, their joys, struggles, and victories, both big and small. In their narratives, she discovered the wealth of wisdom that sprang from overcoming adversity. For Seraphine, her role as a royal was not merely to reign, it was to listen and learn from those whose lives interlaced with her own. Gratitude filled her heart, for in each shared story, the lines between royalty and commonality blurred, revealing that true nobility rested in the strength of bonds forged through empathy. As the night fell, twinkling lanterns illuminated the scene, and a sense of warmth enveloped everyone gathered. The air buzzed with budding romances, tentative but sweet, blossoming as new friends forged connections that transcended titles and expectations. Their laughter intertwined, a symphony of joy that echoed through the night, signaling the dawn of newfound relationships that would weave their stories together. The king and queen observed with tearful smiles, their hearts swelling with an overwhelming sense of fulfillment. It was a sight beyond the glitter of crowns and royal banners. It was a moment marked by love and unity. Here was the true legacy of royalty, not the pageantry, but the legacy of kindness, understanding, and shared joy that would carry forward in the hearts of the people. The night culminated not in the singular feats of the three princesses, but in the collective spirit of a community enriched by love and laughter, creating a cherished memory to be passed down through generations, celebrating the beauty of heartfelt connections made along the journey of life.